It's so weird holding this. Like, I can't believe I made this. Hello potatoes, it's Cato the Potato and welcome back to another video. So, believe it or not, I made this bullet journal like completely out of paper, out of cardboard, out of hopefully love and care. Then again, the pages are really wonky, so it's debatable. I really wanted to try bullet journaling during this time and just kind of see, is it really as helpful and effective as a lot of others who do it? And so I wanted to try it out for myself. But because I haven't been able to go out and get a bullet journal myself, I was like, I'm going to try and follow Sea Lemon and her tutorials on how to make a hardcover book. And so that's what I did. Essentially, I'm going to walk you through kind of how I did it, the process of doing it. And I tried to keep it up as much as I could. So if you guys want like a full on like how I bullet journal for a month video, leave a comment down below. I'd be more than happy to make that. But this video is just going to be a general how I made this journal, as well as just like a basic setup of my bullet journal, if that makes sense. So yeah, hope you enjoy. So I ended up printing nearly 200 pages of dotted grid paper. You can see I printed a lot. I'm folding them each in half and then doing them in groups of 4. I only ended up using 10 groups of 4 for one single bullet journal, but I ended up making multiple, so that's why you can see that I'm doing it a lot. Then I took 10 of the signatures, I believe that's what they're called, marked them with the pencil, lined it up all in a ruler, and then started poking holes with a push pin. This helped a lot whenever I ended up sewing to bind all of the pages together, just helps the needle go through a lot easier. And then this comes probably my favorite part out of this entire project, was just kind of relaxing and threading the needle through all the pages. This can get a little bit, tedious maybe and a little monotonous, but you can turn on your favorite movie, turn on your favorite YouTubers, just kind of watch their videos and just kind of have like a small brain moment, because we have a lot going on in our minds, and this was definitely a very like relaxing and therapeutic way to just chill out for maybe like an hour or so. Just make sure you pull a little tighter, especially at the ends, just to make sure everything is bound together, nothing's gonna fall apart and be flimsy or anything like that. And yeah, this is me tying it off. I ended up making 3 of them, so this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one. You can see after practice, it got a lot better. So I forgot to film me making the cover of this, but essentially using Sea Lemon's video where she used cardboard and fabric, I used cardboard and cardstock, and unfortunately it created this crease because I didn't have enough cardstock to cover all of it, as well as it kind of started warping as time went on, as you can see, and I just wouldn't necessarily recommend using paper in general, so go out and get some fabric if you can, but obviously paper is just as good. I ended up being able to draw on it directly, so that was nice, and I wrote 2020 bullet journal and did a little sprout. So now taking that little crease, I just kind of made it into a tree just to signify growth, because I did a little like plant in the front, so this plant just kind of grew as the year went by, and hopefully it signifies me growing as a person, just throughout the year, and yeah. So this is the final result of the bullet journal cover. You can see that I also did a little spine where I put 2020 bullet journal just so it's easier to find on my bookshelf. And I am absolutely in love with how I was able to customize everything and be able to just put in a little bit more just artistic nature. And you can see that the tree actually blended in really nicely with the edge, so you can't really see even the crease of it. And since I mentioned the warping, I did put a little rubber band and paper clipped it just to secure everything together, and it ended up binding really, really well. So even with the pages, like, I feel like, oh, it's just so pretty. It's just so pretty. Got a sick feeling I'll forget how to talk. So like most bullet journals, I started off with a cover page for the month. So I did July with a little picnic basket inspired by Amanda Richley, and just created a calendar just to start off with a really clear sense of what I wanted to do for the month. can see that the orange ended up bleeding through a little bit, so I had to be really conscious of that throughout this entire project. I did orange just to kind of bring in the summer hot sun theme kind of going, even though we haven't really been outside, and it actually ended up working out pretty well with everything in my opinion. This little part at the bottom, I know not a lot of people are going to do, but for me, since I do YouTube uploads every Wednesdays and Sundays, I just wanted to have like a separate thing outside of the just calendar itself, just to keep myself in check and kind of have my video ideas a little bit more organized as well. Gotta get some new way. Now moving on to the next page. I was a little more conscious of the fact that my brush pens bled through, so I did it on the next page instead of right next to the calendar. And I have never really done calligraphy before, so sorry about the fact that it's very wonky. But like Amanda says in her calligraphy video, you just kind of take it slow, little by little, just kind of practice, makes perfect. And you will definitely make mistakes like I did here where I actually wrote June instead of July. But overall, I ended up loving how I ended up doing it. Again, inspired by Amanda, I'm doing this picnic basket inspired look here for my front cover, and I found these washi tapes that I ended up using a lot throughout my bullet journal as well, just kind of give it a little spice. And you can see that I did like almost a picnic basket pattern with the red here and put July, and then I tried to draw like grapes and an apple and like bread. I think that's what you put in a picnic basket, and so using this tape here really helped kind of like frame everything together, because I didn't want to use the ink to transfer over to the calendar over here. So I made sure to use that tape as much as I could, as well as, up here, just to add a little spice. So yeah. So there are a lot of different ways that you can set up your bullet journal, and I wanted to start off with a very simple checklist idea where I did little boxes and would write down what I needed to do for that day. And I'm just gonna be honest, it didn't really work for me during this entire month, so I think I'm gonna change it up a little bit for the upcoming month and just kind of seeing if other ways work a little better for my schedule and how I just kind of go about my day. And I added a little bit more detailing by adding this little shadow in a sense with a darker orange, and yeah. I really hope you enjoyed, watching me create this. This has been such a surreal thing because, like it's not exactly the same of using a bullet journal that might have been manufactured. This is like truly my own, and I created it, and I get to custom create all the pages along with it. Like I feel like this is just something that, will carry on with me for a little bit. I might make a couple of modifications as I go on, but overall I'm really happy with the design, the size of this as well, and I'm continuing improving, the way that I lay out my stuff, and hopefully as I continue I get better at it, because practice makes perfect. So yeah, if you like this video, please make sure to give a thumbs up and subscribe down below for more interesting content like this. Hope you have a great day. Wishing you the best. As always, Cato, rolling it out. Gotta get some new air, but there is none here. Got a sick feeling